Magic Tournaments 2022. Moving on to Caleb Simpson.
Watch every chip engraved on card out of the deck. Card 6 of spades.
What? Going through to the quarterfinal of the online Magic Tournament, Caleb Simpson. Oh, that is strong. That is a strong entry from Caleb Simpson. Fantastic. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on, sorry. I don't often replay them, but I am going to replay that again. 14 magicians started this competition, and now just 2 remain. The winner of the online Magic Tournament 2022 is Caleb Simpson. This feels like if Leonard Green handled the deck of cards like a pro.
At the beginning of 2022, magician and YouTuber Kevin Booth kickstarted the second season of the online Magic Tournament, an international competition between magicians to see who would be eventually crowned the online Magic champion. And what made this competition interesting is that it was open to the public. Anyone could submit an audition. And so I thought, you know what, let's give it a shot. And to be honest, I really didn't expect to get far. However, as the rounds progressed and as the year went on, I kept making it from round to round, eventually making it to the quarterfinals and then to the semi-finals. And so today I want to break down the routine that got me from the semi-finals through to the finals until I eventually, spoiler alert, won the entire competition. And not only do I want to show you this routine, I want to expose it, breaking it down step by step so you can see how a pickle jar helped me win the online Magic Tournament. But before we go any further, let's have a look at Kevin Booth's reaction to my routine in the semi-finals. So this is my routine as it appeared in the semi-finals, and I remember we had about 4 weeks to put this together, and I literally went to all of my Magic friends and thought, and we kind of brainstormed ideas of how we could do this, because every single round in the competition had a different caveat, and this one it had to be under 2 minutes long, but it also had to start with an appearance and end with a disappearance. And so with that framework in mind, we literally went through dozens of iterations of routines until we eventually came up with this. And that's why I'm pretty happy to share how this works, because this is a routine that I'm never going to do it again. It was designed specifically for this competition, for this round, and it's also something that is original to me. So I really hope you enjoy it. This is his reaction, and we'll see how it goes.
On to Caleb's entry. So here we go.
Caleb.
Whoa, 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 hold on, sorry. I don't often replay them, but I am going to replay that again. That seemed really, really clean. Okay, sorry.
So, this first part, I'm not going to comment on all of it, but this first part was just literally a throw-in at the end. I couldn't think of a really compelling thing to appear at the start, or a compelling way to make things appear, and so I literally just did this easy appearance. I think it actually turned out really well, but I was not expecting it to get a reaction, and he apparently really liked it, so I'm happy with that.
I'm concentrating now, I won't replay it again. 4 cards in the box. Little packet routine, perhaps? Okay.
Man, let's bring back memories.
Okay, interesting. I'm a little fooled by that, actually.
This is actually my least favourite part of the routine. I think
Slight flash on the get ready, I think, but
yeah, it wasn't
still
as
works.
As I wanted. However, you've got to remember, this is not the first take. There's quite a few takes that it took me to get this shot.
Okay.
And the first magic moment. There we go.
I think the gimmick may have flashed.
A little bit.
I'm being critical, but actually this is a really solid routine. I love the sort of miming, and again, it has a real flow to it, it has a real story to it.
Oh, little flash.
Wow, okay.
And it's the kicker.
We're gonna end with a vanish, remember, so that's what I'm sort of really looking forward to. Gonna be interesting to see.
This is my least favourite part, actually, not the other part, because this part, I couldn't use any sound, you can see in a sec, but I didn't have any misdirection for this part.
That's great. Oh my god, that is so good.
That is my favourite.
I was a bit confused as to what was happening. And all the cards vanish. Of course they do. Wow. I don't know if it was just me. I was a bit confused when he was spreading the cards out. I just wasn't quite
so
following
was
what
I.
was going to
I was
happen.
confused
so
as
the
well.
box vanishing completely took me off guard. I would have liked some verbal presentation. I think that particular presentation of the trick could have really helped from having some verbal presentation. We've seen Caleb in the past give really, really good presentations, so I would have liked to have seen that, but I respect the change of style and it really worked.
Yeah, so that is the routine, and I'm actually really happy with it. It's one of those routines that I still look back on, and I am still proud of it, actually. I mean, a lot of this, my old stuff in the past, I mean, it was only a year ago, but a lot of it is quite cringe, you know? You look back on your old stuff and it's cringy, but this I'm actually really proud of. There was a lot of work that went into it. And he did make a comment at the end about having some verbal presentation. You'll see why I couldn't do that in a bit when I expose that. There was definitely some loud noises that I had to keep quiet. So I eventually just decided to do the whole thing without sound. And I was going to put music in, but he didn't want any music just to make sure there was no copyright infringement, which totally makes sense. But as a result, there were some moments where it was kind of a bit confusing. But overall, I was pretty satisfied with it. So, without further ado, let's get into exactly how this routine works. And I'll show you step by step how the magic happened. Alright, so let's get on to exactly how it works. So, I'll show you exactly what we need. I've even got some of the props that I actually used in the video. But, obviously I need the 4 queens, and this is 4 ungimmicked queens, regular queens from a normal deck of cards. And then, I have 4 special queens. Now, I'll show you, some of these are a little bit interesting. These 2 here are normal queens, the Queen of Clubs and the Queen of Diamonds. The Queen of Hearts has a blank back. We'll see why that has that in a second. And the Queen of Spades, here we go, already exposing some things, has a seal on the back to look like it's from the back of a deck. So those are the 4 gimmicked queens. And then we have the box. And the box isn't actually gimmicked, but it will need a bit of setup. So what I did is I tucked the little flaps inside, and by the way, this is the exact box I used. I tucked the little flaps inside so that it was easy to shut and close without any cards inside. And then I also, instead of doing the usual divot in the seam with my thumb, I actually got a new deck and cut it along the top like this, so there was a flat line. I don't know, my focus is not that good, so we'll see how that turns out, but there's a flat line there, so that when this black queen is there, you can't tell the difference between with or without, right? So there's a flat line. And then I also have the clear plastic sleeve still on the box. And so this way, when I can stick a card in the back and it's fully disguised and there's no way it can fall out or anything. So that's the setup. I mean, I'm sure I've already exposed most of the trick already, but you're all waiting for the pickle jar. And I don't actually have a pickle jar, so we've got onion marmalade today. But any jar works, obviously. It does not have to be pickles. And I also have a string with a piece of blue tack on the end, or any kind of adhesive. And then this is actually what you need to make this trick work. So I'll walk through, we'll come back to the pickle jar in a sec to see how that ties in. That's right at the end of the routine with the box vanish. But I do just want to give some credits before I started. Obviously I want to credit my friends who helped me come up with this. This was a big ups to them. But there's a few things here that I can't credit just because they're quite popular moves, and I'm not actually sure where they first came from. There's a lapping move that I use. I'm not sure where it's from. The thing with the jar is credited to Daniel Madison. He has a YouTube video. It's already exposed online on the internet for free, so I'm comfortable exposing it in a YouTube video here. Plus, this one, no one's going to see this video, so it doesn't matter. Probably not the best attitude to have. Anyway, that's the thing with the jar is credited to Daniel Madison, and then a few of these other things I've picked up from other places, all come up with myself. So without further ado, let's get on to it, and I'll show you the setup. So I don't expect anyone to actually perform this routine. I would love to see it if you did, but the Queen of Spades with the seal on it obviously goes on the outside like that, and you want to make sure that it's in line with the top, so there's no overlap. So it's just like that. And then you want to place the queens in red, black, red order with a blank back at the back. Okay, and then you're going to place these so that the blank back is facing towards the flap, like this. And so then, and this is how they are seemingly not in the box, when you squeeze the lid, it looks like there's nothing in the box because all you see is this blank lid, when in fact if you didn't have it you would easily see those cards. So that is the setup, and you also need these 4 queens to be, I think I put them face up, it doesn't actually matter, face up at the bottom of the deck. And I like to insert the flap below the hidden queens, okay? So insert those in there, you've got your setup here, and then this will get set up later when I show you that part of the trick. The other thing I did to start was this appearance was very simple. I literally just had the deck tenkai palmed like this on the table. If I did it from this angle, it would look a bit better. So you can see from that angle it looked fine. But I think this is how I originally filmed it. And then I literally just bring my hands together and then just let go of the box. It's just like that. But because I made sure to keep my hands stationary for a second, so you assume that there's nothing there, then you do the motion quickly. It really does look convincing. So if I get it from the right angle, it might actually look alright. It kind of does look like it appears. And because when you're letting it go, I don't want to let it go with momentum so that it moves. It actually just looks like it appears on the spot because it's stationary. So that's kind of the bonus appearance that I put in at the start, which apparently Kevin really liked, which was great. Now let's go. I'm going to switch the camera angle so you can see the behind the scenes of how the rest of this works. Alright, so here's the behind the scenes angle. Because this routine does use quite a bit of lapping, I thought I'd show you the behind the scenes angle so you can see everything that's going on. And I'll also show you how you set up this jar. So you take the piece of can't speak today. Take this piece of string with the blue tack at the end, and you want to unscrew the lid of the jar and poke it inside. Now, in Daniel Madison's in the original technique, he actually just, I think, puts it inside a whiskey bottle or something, which is very Daniel Madison. I just use a jar. It can be any object that you can attach a string to that is reasonably heavy. A jar is quite simple, you just put it in. Now this actually gets held between my legs. I'll bring it out a bit so you can see. Between my legs, and this piece of string with the blue tack sits neatly on my lap like that. And the whole routine, I'm holding this jar in between my legs, and you'll see why in a little bit. Now, the thing with this routine, I should say as well, is it did take me a few takes, and the reason is because this last part with the pickle jar is not 100%. Sometimes the angles don't work out, but I'll show you how it works. So this is how you start out, and then obviously I do the appearance. So from behind, that's the appearance. I know, very, very simple, right? Boom, appearance. I take the box and I make sure I tuck my finger in and squeeze, and this means that those hidden queens are not going to flash. And then I take these queens out just like that, spread them in show, and then I can close, and this time I close it so that the tuck flap goes behind the hidden queens, which means that they fall into the box. And then I put this to the side. And I like to turn it over because there's a chance that if you stare at this part for too long, you can see through the gimmick. So if I just turn it over, then it's no problem at all. So now it comes to these 4 queens, and I actually just have to lap these. And it's in the process of counting these cards that they get lapped. Now, I realise I haven't actually explained what lapping is. It's pretty basic. It just means that it's a secret action of getting cards to go into my lap. And so from the front, you don't see it, but the cards are actually going into my lap. So I have the 4 cards. I can't remember where the queen is. I think it may be on the face, just because it has to be in a certain orientation so that the queen of spades is the last queen left. So all I do is I count the cards, and as I count them, the first one is ready in this position. My first finger pushing this away. I'm not going to go into too much detail into this technique. And then as I count the second one, I push this back as I take it, and then I can count the other 3. So I'll just go over that one more time because this move reappears a few times. I count, and then I push back, and I can't even count apparently. But you can see how that works. And let's just show it one more time. Count, 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 and my hands require a bit more moisture. So I count 1, lap it, and as if I'm just counting 4 cards, and already I'm 1 step ahead. And so I click my fingers, and then I proceed to count 3 cards and lap another one. So I count, lap, and then, wow, one's disappeared. Already again, 1 step ahead of the audience. And then with the snap again, these cards, the 3rd card disappears as if by magic, and you're left cleanly with 2 cards. Now obviously one of these needs to be the Queen of Spades. And here's the part I'm not so happy with in the video. It would have looked fine, but because it was out of so many takes, I just messed this part up a little bit. You want to take the Queen of Hearts on the bottom, And then I spread them like this so that when I take them in my hands, I can square them up. And then I keep a pinky break below this one. And as I square this up, I think I lap it like that. And so that's really basically the most simple lap you can do, is I just pull it back, let it go, take the first one forward, and then it just slides off the back of the table like that. So at this point, the 3 queens are lapped, and I'm left with 1 card, and then I can shake it, put it down, and it is gone. And so there's the first initial 3 queens vanish, and then obviously you don't have to do anything for this part, because I think I mimed just putting them in the box. You can actually rattle it and hear the sound. It's funny in the video, this is basically a throw off because you can't hear any sound. But I take them out and I like to spread them out straight away. And the beautiful thing is you have this moment where you open the box without any sleight of hand, and you can see the queens inside the box, which just seems impossible because before there were none. Now obviously you've got the blank card at the back. I think in the video I kind of scooped one of them up, so then the blank card was in the middle just in case I accidentally turned them over to flash, but it's really not necessary. You have those queens there. And now comes the 4th lap, and this is a technique I learned from Jeremy Griffith, but I don't know where it originated from, and it's just another way to lap a card where, I can't remember which way I do this, I think it's like this, and I literally just fire it backwards as I put my hand on top of it. And so like this, and you can do any kind of motion to make sure it's disappeared. This is really simple. I just fire whoops, drop the card. I just fire the card backwards as I cover it with my hand and make it disappear. And now we have 1 final queen, and I would have already closed this box up. And this is the part I like, because you've already seen the box empty twice, and yet there's another queen. And now when I open it up, I reach inside, open it up, and in fact before I remember there was a convincer where I shake the box as if you can hear something inside, when in reality it's just this card at the back. And I reach in with my finger, so then from the front it looks like I'm truly going inside the box, and then with my thumb behind I just pull out that queen from behind. And so let's see if I can get a good angle on this. So I would reach in with my finger and then pull the queen out like that, and it does look pretty convincing. And you can actually show both sides of this queen as long as you use your fingers to hide that seal that is there. So I take it out, show, and I have the queen, and then this box is now completely clean. There's nothing fishy with that at the moment. So now we have all 4 queens, and I think you'd like to move one forward so that there's a clean back instead of this kind of dirty gimmick. And now is the part that I didn't have any variable patter for to misdirect over, so I had to kind of just use confusing movements of my hands to make you wondering what was going on. But now I close the box and I move it to the edge of the table, and this is where the pickle jar comes in. So with my thumb, I attach the blue tack lightly to my thumb as I reach forward and kind of move the box around a little bit. And I have to kind of apply a bit of pressure so that that blue tack sticks to the back of the box, alright? And now this box is attached to the pickle jar, and because the pickle jar is held between my legs, when I let it go, the box is going to get yeeted off the back of the table. Now you can probably see where this jar is coming in useful. So as I pick up the cards and I spread them, as I cover the deck from the front, this is what happens. Yoink, like that. Literally as easy as that. And because I was recording, there's no way I could have sound in it because there's this big thud sound as you just heard. And that is the final vanish. So almost the final vanish. Let me just grab these things off the table, and I'll just do that one more time, mostly just because it's fun. But I attach that to the front, and in the simple act of just releasing with my arms, it just gets launched backwards. Now sometimes when I did this it would launch upwards, so that's why I had to have a few takes before it just got launched backwards into my lap. But once that happened, I'm left with 4 queens, and so I use one final lapping move that looks like this, and then I bring my hands forward and show that the queens have vanished. So there we go, my magic secret is out. That's how I won the online magic tournament. And if you want to see the finals act, this was only the semi-final act. If you want to see the finals, you can have a look at that in the video playlist. I've linked down below in the description. It has all of the results and also the videos from the online magic tournament. And so I would also like to thank CAVAN'S Booth. Thanks for putting that on. It was a great creative challenge for me during the year. And super fun and super cool to end up walking away with the prize and winning the competition. So if you enjoy this video, feel free to let me know down below. Let me know what you thought of the routine. I'd love to hear your feedback, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya. Ah, secret is finally out. No one's gonna perform that, are they?